Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. It is a great day to be a junior Potter. We've only got 3 more assignments left for that grade book. The finish line is at the end of the tunnel there and start to see it. So let's finish off strong here. If you haven't checked out Ms. Rothman's email yet from last Friday, I don't know what you're doing, but make sure that you go there and do that. She's got a bunch of stuff about where you need to be at the end of the year, when we need to turn in iPads, when you're allowed back into the building for the green team to make sure that you're cleaning out your locker, getting your PE clothes, all that kind of stuff that you might have left there. All that stuff is in that email, so make sure that you check it out because there's a whole document in there that you just need to look at and your parents need to look at. And I believe they've been sent that too. So hopefully somebody there is aware of what's happening because we need to make sure that we do that stuff in order to wrap up the end of the year. So without getting into too much delay here, we had our cycles happening yesterday. As of, 7:30 here, it's about, I would say our percentages, we're at like about 105 people. So we got about 20 more left, which usually those trickle in later on tonight. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the water cycle. So you can see I got a picture here. This is today's assignment. The worksheet here, we got this picture of the water cycle. You probably know the main parts of it. Evaporation, water coming up off the ocean or sometimes off the ground like the dew and whatnot can be that way. Officially, that's called transpiration, but it's essentially the equivalent of evaporation. You got condensation where it makes the clouds, and then you got precipitation where it falls down. So we're going to have that going along in the cycle there. We also got, once it hits the ground, 2 different options that it can go in. If it stays on top of the land, it usually forms like a river, a stream, a creek, something like that. That's going to be called runoff, or sometimes surface runoff, to make sure that you know it's on the surface. If it soaks into the ground, like a lot of the times it does for rain, which looks like we're experiencing right now, that is going to be called groundwater because it's going to go down into the earth, into the ground, and become groundwater. Both of those eventually trickle back out to the larger lakes, oceans, the bodies of water there, and then we start the cycle all over again. So what you're going to do here, you can see I've got the A, B, C, Ds. Let me transition into the full screen version of things so you can see it a little bit easier here. You got your A, B, C, D, E, F. Those are things that you're going to use because you're going to tell me and identify the different parts of the water cycle there by just putting in the letter. That's all you got to do. Just got to do the letter. You don't have to type it all out because that doesn't make sense because you'd be saying condensation equals condensation. Doesn't make sense. So make sure you give me the letter there. Down here, you're going to use these terms that we bolded and underlined. That's condensation, precipitation. Oh, let me do that. There you go. Groundwater, runoff, evaporation, ocean, basically the same pieces that you used up above. Now I have a description of what happens with that. You got to give me what description is happening for each one. There's 6 options, 6 answers, so each one is used once. And then you got 3 questions at the end using complete thoughts. Why is the water cycle important to the ecosystem? So why do we need water? That should hopefully be an easy one. What's one way that we can positively affect this cycle? And what's one way that we can negatively affect this cycle? And then submit that when you're all done, and you'll be A-okay and ready to go for that water cycle there. So we'll try to make this one a little bit quicker. If you have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to ask. And always remember that it is a great day to be a junior Potter.